Cairns is situated on the Queensland coast, approximately 1,700 kilometres north of the capital, Brisbane. When the tide goes out, the sand flats near the centre of the city provide an ideal feeding ground for waders. Many bird species have been seen there. Commonly, you will see grey-tailed tattlers, knots, lapwings, sandpipers, and plovers. The lesser sand plover is a tiny wader. Its bill is shorter than its head, and it is not as tall as the greater sand plover. In Australian conditions, they are quite difficult to tell apart. A wader that is often seen in large flocks is the sharp-tailed sandpiper. They have a bronze colour on their head and obviously a sharp pointed tail. Knots are another common wader. They tend to be shorter in the legs than other waders. The great knot has a bill that is slightly longer than its head, whereas the red knot has a bill about the same length as its head. Pacific golden plover are another common wader in Australia. Their colour is generally golden. The male, however, may be quite dark if still in breeding plumage. They love crabs. Eastern curlew numbers have decreased dramatically over the last couple of decades. Feeding grounds on their migratory path have largely been destroyed. They have the largest bill of any wader in Australia. The whimbrel looks very similar to an eastern curlew, though its bill is nowhere near as long, and they often have a white eyebrow. They also love crabs. Godwits are another common wader in Australia. The bar-tailed godwit has a tail with bars across it, and its bill is slightly upturned. black-tailed godwit has a tail that is black, and its bill is generally very straight. In flight, they have a white bar on their wings. They are generally more slender than the bar-tailed godwit. The masked lapwing near Cairns does not have the black at the back of their neck and down their breast. They also lack the spur on their wings, like the birds further south. On mangrove beaches around Cairns, you might catch sight of a beach Stone-Curlew. With their large bill, they are able to take on larger crabs found amongst the rocks. Along the coastline around Cairns, you might spy an osprey on the lookout for a fish. They build a large nest made of twigs. There's every chance you'll also see a white-bellied sea eagle. They also prey on fish, but they also like water birds and even turtles and rabbits. A common water bird of northern Australia is the Rajah shelduck. At Cairns Botanical Gardens, you are very likely to see them. Wherever there are lily pads on wetlands, you are likely to see the comb-crested jacana. Katana wetlands, just north of Cairns, is an ideal environment to find them. Little egret have a dark bill. They usually feed on the edges of wetlands. On rocky shorelines near Cairns, you might spot an eastern reef egret. This is the grey morph version. On Green Island, off the coast of Cairns, you can also see the white morph version of the eastern reef egret. On Green Island, you're almost certain to see the buff-banded rail. There are hundreds of them there. A common bird seen around estuaries and mangroves is the white-faced heron. In freshwater environments and flooded grasslands, you might catch sight of a white-necked heron. And if you are lucky, you might catch sight of a black-necked stork, or commonly called jabiru. The female has the yellow eye. In the trees along the esplanade in the centre of Cairns, when they are in blossom, it is a good place to see varied honeyeater. In woodlands, near rivers and wetlands, you might also catch sight of a little friarbird. If there are fruiting trees around, you'll almost certainly see the Australasian figbird. In northern Australia, the male has a yellow chest, whereas in southern Australia it is olive green. peaceful dove are often seen in small flocks searching for seeds in parks. Another bird often seen in coastal scrubland and riverside vegetation is the bar-shouldered dove. If you are very lucky and you are in rainforest or vine thickets, you might catch sight of a rose-crowned fruit dove. In the past, Teresian imperial pigeon were found on islands off the coast of Queensland. Today, they often breed on the mainland around Cairns and Townsville. They were previously known as pied imperial pigeons. Around Cairns, you can hear the laughing kookaburra, but if the kookaburra has a white iris and a crazy call, it is the blue-winged kookaburra. They are large members of the kingfisher family. Another member of the kingfisher family found around Cairns is the forest kingfisher. They are a beautiful little bird. In rainforests and scrubland around beaches and rivers, you might also see the orange-footed scrub fowl. King quail are often very difficult to find, but if you are in wet, swampy areas, and in dense ground cover, you're always a chance. Yellow-billed spoonbill are found in many wetland environments across mainland Australia. So if you're in a wetland, there's always a chance of spotting one. In rainforests and wet eucalypt forests around Cairns, there's always a chance of hearing and seeing a lesser sooty owl. In the mangroves just north of the sandflats in the centre of Cairns, there is always a chance of seeing the mangrove robin. What a beautiful little bird. There are plenty of bird species to be seen around Cairns. It is well worth the trip.